Clap.
So yeah, what would you like to see?
In a new country, I'd like to see sustainable natural resource management with a balance between the needs of the present generations and future generations. And I'd like to see an open and accountable democratic process that is open and accountable to the people rather than special interests.
How can we make it open, like open, accountable process? How can we make it?
Yeah, I think you'd have to encourage voting, and you'd want a culture where people felt compelled to vote out of a sense of contribution, where they actually felt that there was a purpose and a benefit to themselves of participating.
How can we make sure countries start with good intentions, and how can we make sure the country that starts with good intentions keep being good?
Yeah. How can you start a country with good intentions is the first question.
And keep it.
And keep it.
Can you see the camera?
Yeah.
It's okay. You can
I think the way to keep it is to really have a strong culture. And that culture can be diverse, and that culture can be inclusive. And that culture can also ideally realize that there's room for differences and that there's a need to grow and kind of include everybody. Yeah.
Okay, can you tell us about this space? And that you have an amazing, okay, maybe I should just come here as well. You have an amazing space over here where it's in the heart of downtown San Francisco. It's an artistic space, and people just hang, work on their projects, and people are playing music downstairs. And this is amazing. This is what this movie is about. This is about better use of resources and better use of spaces. Can you tell us about this journey?
Yeah.
of the space where we are?
Okay. So this is freespace, and freespace is an open commons, essentially. It's a public-private space, or it's a privately owned public space. And I guess what's most important about it is that it's a place where everybody can come together and create. It's not just artistic. There's a lot of other types of creation here, including sort of business organizations and nonprofit type of organizations. And so there's a lot of output that comes out of here that is really impact focused and kind of focuses on the broader needs of how do we as a community change the direction that we're going in.
But tell us about the story. We have this space here, and it must cost money to be here, right? Tell us how.
Yeah.
How you overcome the complexities of having money to pay the rent for this, premium location.
Right. So our landlord has donated the space, and the space is free. And the space is free for a short period of time, and that's how we're able to be here. We're not here for 5 years, we're here for closer to 5 months. And what that does is that lets us come in between tenants, and we run an all-volunteer organization. And we have some sponsorship, we have some grants from the city of San Francisco, and we also have some private donations. And between those two, we're able to afford to put the lights, and afford internet, and afford waste disposal. And those are pretty much the basic needs. We have a little bit to use on garbage bags and some basics, some of the really kind of core necessities, but it's really a gift, essentially a gift economy, where the staff is gifting their time to make it happen, and people that come to the space have a sense of ownership, so while they're here, typically try to improve it. Like you brought soap today, and that was a huge contribution, right? Because soap is really appreciated in bathrooms, and
it just costs $1. It costs $1, and it's gonna last, I don't know, maybe a week or something.
Right. But that sort of mentality of contribution is essentially how we're able to exist. What we're providing here, the space that we're creating, is considered valuable by the community, and it's considered valuable by the Mayor's Office of Innovation, and it's considered valuable by some of our other partners, and a lot of people help make this happen. And
so if you would send a message to people who own spaces, like you said, this space is available temporarily between tenants, right?
Right.
If you would send a message, because there's so much spaces that are just, people are just locked up, and they're not really utilized. So if you would send a message for others to learn from this experience and to open up their spaces, what would you say?
Yeah. I guess I would look broader than just spaces, and I would look at kind of what's your economic engine. And I would say look at the long term and look beyond the kind of conventional Wall Street driven quarterly reporting mentality, which really focuses most for-profit institutions to focus on short term, quarter by quarter earnings. And that really doesn't capture the best long term interests of anybody. And I think that's sort of the core, my sense is that that's the core breakdown of the American economy, is this focus on short term, what's profitable rather than what's socially, globally, and kind of culturally and environmentally best.
It's amazing. Thank you so much.